Hi, I'm Bram, and I have to admit I feel a little silly reading political messages into a Nintendo game. I'm not sure it's truly possible for any kind of art to be completely apolitical, but Nintendo sure does usually get about as close as you can get. Sure, you could make the argument that Mario games reinforce the idea of the divine right of kings or whatever, but come on, really? I could make that video, but even I would think that's a bit much. Usually, Nintendo's biggest capital P political messages are made precisely because of their attempt to remain quote-unquote apolitical, like when they accidentally included same-gender romantic options in Tomodachi Life for the 3DS, and then made the deliberate choice to patch it out later. Cases such as that show that by apolitical, people usually just mean uncontroversial, which is why a desire to remain apolitical is really anything but. It inevitably leads one to side with the most dominant political ideas, which often means positioning yourself against the marginalized. All this preamble is to say, yes, I really am gonna read politics into Pikmin, the game about astronauts that use cute little plant creatures to get home or make money or whatever, because insisting that things are and should be treated as apolitical can actually be pretty insidious. Okay, so Pikmin. Pikmin, released for the Nintendo GameCube in 2001, is about Captain Olimar, an astronaut who crash lands on the strange planet PNF 404 and has to repair his ship in 30 days to get home, lest his life support systems fail. In this, he either succeeds or doesn't, with the help of small plant-like creatures called Pikmin, whom Olimar can command and who will help him salvage his ship parts and defeat enemies. As far as plot points go, that's about it. The bit of storytelling that's interesting to us here is the story that the environment tells. You see, as you explore PNF 404, you start to find a lot of things that seem familiar littering the landscape, like giant paper bags, bottle caps, and other such, well, pretty human detritus. You get the sense that there either are or used to be people living on this planet, people who might be very much like us. We don't ever get to see any of them though, just the inane trash they've left behind them, but you probably can't help but wonder, is this our world? Is this Earth? And if so, where the hell are we? The second game makes it pretty clear that yes, this is indeed Earth. In this game, Olimar and his new partner Louis have to scour the Earth for quote-unquote treasure to save the company they work for from bankruptcy, because yes, they are apparently commercial astronauts, more on that later. This treasure takes the form of, well, the trash that humanity left behind. Stuff like batteries, light bulbs, bottle caps, cans, rubber duckies, you name it. We also get a good look at the layout of the continents of PNF 404 in this game, and yeah, that's just Earth. So there you have it. An Earth that is seemingly devoid of humans, that has been without us for so long that its wildlife is completely alien to us, but our detritus still litters the world with barely a scratch on it. You almost have to read a kind of environmentalist, anti-consumerist subtext in that, right? The reasons humans wipe themselves out is probably the same as the reason the world is littered in their trash, right? Just like in real life, the reason for both those things, if we allow it to come to pass, we certainly are on the way to doing so, is the way the production and distribution of goods is currently arranged. A way that incentivizes overproduction and short-term decision-making that isn't really conducive to taking long-term negative effects into account. Capitalism. I'm talking about capitalism as the root cause of continued global warming again, I'm very sorry. In case you're not convinced that climate change is what's happening here, the Nintendo Power Strategy Guide for Pikmin 1 literally confirms that there was a global climate shift in the last century. And if you hear that and think, oh wow, humanity did add to a change in the climate? I wonder what could have caused that. Then I honestly don't know what to tell you. Like, I know you people exist, but come on. Now, am I sure that the developers really made the conscious link between capitalist modes of production and climate change? I mean, no, but it is very interesting how this background hum of environmentalism is communicated mostly through commodities. In that light, it's also kind of funny how the fact that Pikmin 2 has product placement in it actually only strengthens its subtle anti-capitalist vibes. Like, just finding a AAA battery in a game like this could very easily lead to stupid, broad, humanity is the real virus kind of takes, but finding a Duracell battery? That feels like pointing the finger, and I'm here for it. Anyway, I think the question of authorial intent really isn't the most important thing here, and also kind of breaks down for video games in general, since they're such a collaborative art form. The game says what it says, regardless of intentionality. The stories of some of these games do, however, strengthen their environmentalist and anti-capitalist vibes. Let's start with the whole premise of Pikmin 2. Following the good ending of Pikmin 1, Olimar returns home to what we find is a pretty barren planet, and we find out he's a commercial astronaut for a company on the verge of bankruptcy. Given the themes of the Pikmin franchise is already playing with on Earth, I think it's not that much of a stretch to draw a connection between this greedy fucker's model of industry and the barren landscape surrounding him, and that the planet Hocketed is headed for a similar climate disaster as Earth. The story of Pikmin 3, however, is much more specific about this. The astronaut protagonists of that game come from a different planet, Kopai, which has completely exhausted its natural resources because, as the game puts it, they never stop eating and never stop to plan, which, okay, on the one hand puts the focus a little too much on blaming individual consumers, who mostly aren't the ones throwing out enough food to feed billions in our world, but hey, that quote also seems to imply that they could have avoided their troubles by planning their economy, so I'll take the L along with the dub. Anyway, I guess that's all I really wanted to say here. I just wanted to shed light on this little interesting thematic layer to the Pikmin games. So when you sit down to play Pikmin 4, maybe you'll occasionally remember that this is a future we can and should avoid.
If you thought this video was at all interesting, you could show that by leaving a like and/or a comment, and you could consider watching another one of my videos. All those things help me stand out in YouTube's algorithm, so I really do appreciate it if you do even one of those things. Thank you.